How do you get to Dubai? What is the basic salary there? Is it hard to get a job in Dubai? Is it easy to get a job in Dubai? These and more are the questions that I encounter every day. I live and work in Dubai, a magnificent city in the United Arab Emirates. I have seen people rise from the dust to greatness. How does it even feel to start small and then get to greatness? Through this journey of being in Dubai, of living and working in Dubai, I have learned one thing. There's nothing that comes at once. Everything comes step by step. It's about taking a day as it comes. It's about overcoming those battles every single day. It's being strong. It's being different in any way. But another thing, when you learn to live your life in a different way every single day, you take it step by step. Life can be so beautiful in this place. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. Strength usually comes from overcoming the things you thought you couldn't do. Your greatness is limited only by the investments you make in yourself. Today, we are having a conversation with a beautiful, intelligent woman, Shakira Kabine. She left Uganda immediately after she graduated and she came here to start her career. And guess what? In the journey that she has walked here, came as a hotel agent and right now she's at a managerial position. Join me as we discuss how she has walked the journey and the best disciplines you can keep to walk this journey as a genius. To enjoy all these, subscribe to Magna Treasures, like the video, leave a comment and turn on notification not to miss any videos from Magna Treasures. You know, when you're not adding value to the world, you're not doing anything. I connect with her every day. Like every time I want to listen to sense, I call Shakira. So from what I understood from your conversation, like you got discipline.
Yes, I would like to think I'm a quite disciplined person, yes.
What are the few disciplines that you think you have? You know, yes, there's being disciplined, but then there are few things you pick and you say, I'm going to decide to do this. What are few things that you do every day that keep your life going and keep your life put together?
One thing that's very important to me is time, because time is a precious commodity that we don't always treasure. You know, people do not always think that it's important, but for example, if I'm seated here with you and I'm spending my time with you, I must derive the maximum capacity of whatever good things that you're giving to me that I have, and vice versa, you know. So if for example, you have an appointment at 3 and you come at 3:15, you're not very late, but you're late still, you know. You are being impolite and you're wasting my time. Yeah. I could be doing a million things during those 15 minutes that you're taking away from me. And to me, to understand the aspect of time and the value of it, even in hospitality, we strive so much to give back to the guest the time that they, you know. So when a person chooses to come and to stay in your establishment, they expect that the time that they will spend with you will be precious and memorable and treasured. So if they have a problem with, let's say, internet, that the internet in their room is not working, you're taking away from the time that they would have used to maybe take a selfie and post to Instagram, or like video to, you know, upload the vlog if they
update somebody.
Exactly. So those small details that people kind of like turn a blind eye to, one of them is time, and for me it's very important to me. So I try as much as possible to never ever take advantage of people's time. And if I'm going to be late and I have a reason, I will communicate in advance, so you can also arrange yourself and be like, okay, she's running 5 minutes late, so perhaps I can go and grab a coffee while she comes, you know what I mean? So time is important to me. And secondly, I don't know if it's a discipline per se. I always try to be kind to everyone, empathy is something that doesn't come natural to everyone, you know. I can see someone suffering and I'll be like, oh, you deserve it, you know. But I try as much as possible to look at, if you annoy me, for example, if you do something that I find annoying, I would try to look at it in your perspective, you know.
To try to consider
the reason as to why you have done what you have done, despite the fact that it has upset me. I would try to see what has caused you to. Perhaps I've also done something that pushed you to that limit, you know.
Probably there's something behind why you.
Exactly. And this has helped me to maintain relationships and to not have strife, you know, because you get upset. It's a bad habit for us to get upset and act immediately. You know, you get upset and you say so many bad words, and you throw a tantrum, you walk away, and this does not do anything to fix our relationship. So even I like good vibes, you know. I like to maintain a place with good vibes, and if you're stomping away, that's not a good vibe, you know.
And I think that contributes. Every time you're in an environment that has good vibes, it's very healthy for your soul too.
Yeah, I agree. And so I was not born like this. I used to be a little brat that got upset with everything, you know, and I would be like, I can live without you, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
At some point.
Yeah, exactly. You're upset, but like you're also. I can't even find the word to describe it,
Do you
know.
have any, maybe a friend did something and then you got upset, or anybody did something and then you went back into your room and you're like, today I'm deciding on this?
Not that I remember. What I know is I just made a choice to kind of consider the other person when, you know, reacting to situations. So actually, no. I think I remember the point.
There you go.
Where I decided
There's
this.
always that point.
Give
it to
okay,
us.
so there's this guy. He was in my team. He was in my team. He was a subordinate of mine. I think this is the time that I decided, because he was very disrespectful. I was new to the team. And you know, when they introduce a new person to your team and he's your superior, and maybe you wanted to have this position. So this person was very disrespectful and would talk back, and I would need to do an extra nudge for them to like kind of do whatever I asked them to do, even if it was for the good of the entire team, you know.
Okay.
So this one day, I think he was very disrespectful. Like, he came to me in the office and he spoke to me in a funny way. And I think this is the only time I remember yelling at someone in my entire life, actually. So he said something to me very disrespectfully, something that you can say, you know, in a polite way, but he said it very disrespectfully. So I asked him, could you please wait for me outside? And I'll come and we'll talk about it. And he kept pushing and pushing. And I was sitting at the computer and he was talking and he was talking and he was talking, and my level of I was like, please go away, please go away. In my head, you know, I was like, please go away, please go away, please go away. And when he did not go away, I just burst out, you know. And I shouted at this person. I've never done, and I asked him to go home. I was just so upset. He was talking and talking and talking and talking, and I was like, please leave. He did not leave, so I like banged the table and I asked him, please leave, go home, I don't want to see your face. And like, I'm saying this very calmly, but then I was speaking at the top of my voice. And everyone in the office was so shocked, because I never raised my voice at all, you know. And if I have to reprimand you, I will take you to a private place and we will talk about it. But this day I was very stern, and I actually sent him home, and I went home myself, you know, because
you could not.
I could not stand it. But I remember the feeling that it gave me, because to this date I hate this. Okay, not hate. Hate is a big word, but I cannot. If you know he applied for a job in my team, I still will not give him this job, because I resent him for, maybe I'm wrong, but for making me into the person that I really don't want to become.
Exactly.
You know. I don't want to be a person that yells at people. I want to be a person that's understanding, that you can sit with and talk about things, you know, and tell me why you're asking this, and I can tell you why I'm asking you to do that. You know. So I believe this is the point. So I said, how can I make myself better? Because I also don't want my workmates to see me as a person who yells at people. It's so not professional. I would not want a person to yell at me if I do something that they don't agree with. So I thought about it, and I was like, oh no, I need to change something. So I think that was the beginning of me trying to find out how I can change, that aspect, and we all have empathy, but sometimes it's so deep-seated that, you can't really put it into proper use, and you have to actively make the choice, actively to be like, no, I will not let this affect me until I have considered all possible angles of the situation,
So what do you do when you're annoyed right now?
I take a breath. I'm rarely annoyed, but when I'm annoyed, I tell people, I cannot speak right now, so talk to me in a while, like let's talk after a while, because I don't feel like talking about it right now, because I want to get the time, like I said, to consider everything, to think about it and to put myself together, because when we are angry, we say things that we don't mean most of the time, and we become people that we also sometimes seldom recognize, So when I'm, especially at work, if I'm talking in a work perspective, I always tell them I can't speak right now. That's how I try to manage myself in the workspace. At home, I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of, self-affirmations. I believe so much in myself that you cannot tell me something is wrong with me and I will agree with you. I believe so much in myself. I believe in my potential. I believe in myself as, a force to change everything, for me, for my family, for my friends, And if you have that feeling, no one can change it. People call it esteem, but for me, I feel like it's more than esteem.
Take us through a typical day.
So, well, because I work in the hospitality industry, as you know, we don't have a typical day in the hospitality industry. There's no such thing as you go to work at this time and you finish. Exactly. There's no such thing in the hospitality industry. There's shifts, but there's those specific things that I do every day that kind of keep me centered,
I can't wait for those because I need to learn.
Yeah, so basically, there's just like 3 things that I must do every day.
Okay.
First, I pray. I wake up every day at 5 a.m. to pray. Because without God, we are nothing, honestly. I pray 5 times a day. We are nothing without God. I pray 5 times a day. I worship Him. And I thank Him for the day and for every blessing that He gives me and for allowing me to wake up. Because as you know, as we fall asleep, we die for those,
Of course.
And when God gives you the blessing to rise up,
there's nothing
how wonderful. So I pray every day at 5 a.m. regardless of what time I have to go to work. Every day I have to pray the first prayer. The first prayer is around 4 a.m., 5 a.m. So I'm always up at that time to pray.
Even if you sleep late, you still wake up.
Even if I sleep late, I still wake up at that time. Because it's very important. See, God loves us all, but He loves those people that seek Him more.
Exactly. He says it.
And He's exactly. When you seek the Lord, you become closer to Him. You understand it more, And when you understand
the connection, get connected to Him.
It's so amazing. So anyway, I'm always up at 5 a.m. or around that time to pray. And I have lots of audiobooks that I'm listening to. So each week I have one that I'm listening to. So while I do my things, I'm listening to those audiobooks because they boost you as a person as well. They help you see the perspective maybe that you have been missing. While, you might think that you know everything, but there's always those things that, it doesn't hurt to get more knowledge, So I have lots and lots of audiobooks that are stacked up, and I listen to one every week while I prepare for work. At work, I work. In the evening, I always try to get my team together. I have people that are working in shifts, and I am in management, as you know. So every day I try to sit with one person of my team to kind of get to know how they are. Maybe they can help me with something because, they're in the team and they're doing the work, and they can tell me how we can do better, because if your team is working well, you are excelling as a manager,
I think I should forward my CV. You seem like a good manager.
Oh, I hope I am. I hope I am. I try to be. I try my best to be. But the things that don't miss in my day is my prayer time, the personal time that I have, the one-on-ones with my team, because I'm still new in management, and so I think that what builds a person is the people. And if you have people in your team that support you, and you know they listen to you, but they also support you, and they want you to succeed, then this is a great start to building even a higher ranking career, right? So I pray, I listen to my audiobooks every day, every single day without fail, you know. I could listen for like 30 minutes or 15 minutes, but I have to listen, you know, to something, to kind of bring me
back to,
you know, the vibe that I need to start the day, And then I always schedule, not schedule per se, but I always try to manage and sit with one of my team members to kind of, maybe we can have lunch together or dinner together, or maybe we can have a tea after work. So we can have conversations about work, how, you know, just about work or even personal, so we can foster the bond and make the workplace a good place to be. Sure, because, you know, we spend 90% of our time at work. So if you're not happy at work,
it's totally going to be messy
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about knowledge, you talked about you being in the management position right now. Did you start as a manager?
No, I did not. I started as an agent,
So,
a reception agent, and I grew through the ranks to now guest services manager.
the journey through management.
Well, it's not difficult, you know.
Tell us about it.
It's not difficult. I mean, it's
You're
just
saying that, and someone out there is like, you go, you don't know.
it just takes devotion, and that it's an X factor, let me say, and very few people have it. You know, you do a job to make money and stuff, but there's those few people that do a job because this is what they're supposed to do. I think I'm doing the job that I was meant to do. It takes a lot of skills. You have to have people skills.
That's what I'm talking
Problem solving skills. But those skills, it's not that you learn them. Just, you know, they can give you all the training that you need about all those skills,
And
but
you
you
still
still
don't
don't get it. You have to know, like when you have a problem, like simple things. I want to give you the simplest example. A person can come to you and they're having a really bad day. I had this experience once. I was a front desk agent and I was working night shift, and the lady came in from Australia. Her name is Sarah. She's actually a friend of mine right now. Hi, I hope she sees this. Hi, I hope you see this. Her name is Sarah. So basically, this lady was married to a Lebanese guy whom she had not seen for, I think, a year or 1 year and a half, and they had a little bit of you know, she told me the story eventually, right? So they had misunderstandings. So she went to Lebanon, and they had agreed that she would. So she flew just from Australia to Lebanon. It's like 3 continents, you know, to go to a place where you know nobody, because you hope that your husband will pick you up from the airport. And her husband did not pick her up from the airport. And her family-in-law, so the mothers-in-law, they came to the airport and they told her, you're not welcome here because ABCD, our son is better off without you. And so she didn't know anyone at all in Lebanon except her husband and his family, and they all shunned her. So she was stuck in the airport for about 12 hours trying to wait for money to be transferred to her to book a flight to go back. And the only way she was able to do it, so she flew back from Lebanon to Dubai because that was the cheapest flight she could find at that time. She booked the hotel online because that was the only one that was available in the location that she was wanting to stay. And so when she came, she didn't have a lot of, like, she wasn't liquid. She didn't have a lot of cash on her, or like even card to pay, because, you know, flights from Australia are very expensive. Very, very expensive. And you imagine taking that flight, going halfway across the world to a place where you expect to be welcomed, and you're excited to finally make things right with your husband with whom you've been fighting, and then he doesn't show up at all, and his family comes to tell you that, oh, you're not welcome here and we will not take you anywhere. So you can imagine the headspace this person was in. She came to the reception. I was alone and she was crying. So before I even assisted her, I sat down with her in the lobby, and she was crying so much that I held her. You know, I asked her, what's wrong? She's like, I have to check in. I'm like, okay, we will do it, but like, is there something that I can do for you? Because I know that some people will not be able to tell you the story, you know. She was sobbing so hard that when I held her, she started to sob a little more, and then she told me the story, you know. And then at the time of like now doing the process, after she's calmed down a little bit, she then tells me, oh, I don't have, you know, money right now. I'm just expecting it to be sent tomorrow, and I'm very hungry, and I haven't eaten in like 16 hours. And you know, because when you take a cheap flight, it also doesn't include meals. And this was a difficult day for this woman, you know. When I remember it, it was so difficult for her, you know. And so, well, normally when a person comes into the hotel to check in, you don't check them in without payment. Like, that's a no-no. Like, how do you even do it? She was staying for 16 nights and paying a whole sum of money that I didn't even have at that time. But I did check her in. Because I wanted her to have a bath and rest, I sent her some room service food.
The rest can be.
You know, and then I told her we'll talk about this tomorrow. You know, once you have had a meal and you've slept. And actually, the next day we went to the beach because she wanted to talk about a little bit more. I told her, you can meet me here, let's go to the beach and talk about it, you know. But the decision that I made to let her check in without money, and remember, I was only an agent at that time, you know, and I don't have the power to make such decisions. And if it was, in my opinion, if it was someone else, they would have left this woman sit in the lobby all the time. Like I said, it takes a certain kind of people to
do that.
To have the skill to tell that this person is genuine, and that if I make this decision to help them, that this is going to be the outcome. And this kind of people in hospitality are rare, and those are the people that are made to work in that field. And I think I'm one of them. Actually, I am one of them. Let me not use think. I am one of those people, and that's why initially I said it's not difficult for me, because first, I have the personality for it. I love what I do. I do it with my whole heart. And for me, you know, helping people, assisting them, it comes naturally to me. I enjoy it. It gives me so much joy. So
one of the things I've learned from the conversation, especially the journey of management, is to someone who is watching us right now, it's about identifying the skills that you have.
Exactly.
When you identify, and it takes knowledge, we talked about it, you need to really seek knowledge and identify. It's very important to identify the skills you have. You don't force yourself to do something. It should be within. You need to pursue that and know that this is what I want and this is what I want. And you know how she's speaking about, like, I don't think I can do it. I know I can do it. So there you
know,
go.
and it's a cliche to you know, people usually say you need to do what you love. It's a cliche, but it's true. When you love to do something, you just find yourself doing it even without trying, you know. And this is the reason as to why I said it. Well, it could have been easier if it was you know, because we live in a multicultural environment and they have so many things to consider. So a person of, you know, I don't mean to be racist, but like my background, you know, my race, my background, you know, and growing very quickly through the ranks, that means I have an X factor about me, you know. There's something that I have that a very educated person with a master's degree does not have.
Exactly.
You know?
I know that. It's very common, especially with the mild nationalities that are here. You get to understand, you get in a place and then you're picked up. And then people have been there for 10 years.
Exactly.
And you for 2 years, you get picked up. It's because you have those skills within. But it's also important to identify them and you start doing them more. I hope you're enjoying the time that we are having. I am enjoying, I'm learning. So you've listened to her. And the reason I wanted us to have this conversation is for you to understand the few things that will make you a different person. She's talked about, you know, a few disciplines that she does, because I wanted to actually hear them. I didn't know the disciplines that she does, but I got to know. So I hope they've helped you. Timekeeping, getting knowledge, identifying your skills, and also being human, the empathy. You know, the way she talked about the story of the lady. Just imagine if you live a life of being kind. So, darling, let's get into life and let's add value to our lives. And then, of course, we find the geniuses within and we help the whole world.
I agree with what you said.